at some point she had been, quote, normal. She had been a loving mother, I think. And I kept hoping that she would get better.
Yeah.
So now I'd say hope is the killer.
It is.
It's the killer.
That's what kept me going. It's like, he'll change. He's doing AA. He's going to quit drinking. And then, but when I realized I was the only one that could change, that changed everything, because once I worked on myself, then all my outer environment all changed. And the going up. Mm-hmm.
And the other thing too, I think, is you have to surrender and give up on that person becoming healthy. Because I think a lot of us get into those abusive relationships. Oh, I can help this person. I can make them feel better. And it's really an inverted ego or something. It's like, who the hell do I think I am that I can change this person? Only they can change them, and only I can change me. So I think the surrendering, and I find this a lot, that people do not want to let go. And no, if I just love him more, if I just stay a bit longer, if I lose 10 pounds, it'll all be good. And it's like, no, it won't. No, it won't. Give it up. Give it up now before you go down with the sinking ship.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So that's another thing why people hang on. So how do we end the abuse, Darlene? I know that's a very big question. I don't mean to put it all on you, but what are your thoughts about how can we change the system so that, we're not caught up in that system, men and women and children aren't caught up so much in it, and this is the end result?
Well, I think having these conversations that we're having right now and bringing awareness around it and talking about it and bringing out that shame and that guilt around it, so that people can have awareness that how much is happening, and then, realizing that it is stemming from childhood and beliefs and how we are showing up, whether we have that self-love or value, or we have that criticizing voice in our head saying, you're not enough, you're not good enough, this is what you deserve, or, so a big part of that is our own inner work. And like I said, supporting the shelters, bringing more shelters in, having proper security in shelters, because there's one in Cranbrook. Everybody's like, oh, you mean the one on such and such street? And it's supposed to be a secret where the shelter is. So there's definitely a lot of support we can do around the shelters, so that women actually have a safe place to go, so that they can calm the nervous system down, and getting more education around it, educating the teenagers and the younger children. This is not normal. This is not the way we should treat each other. And
no.
Yeah,
no. And as you know, I'll be working during my hibernation. I'm going to be working on a course for teenagers called, what am I calling it? Energy Dynamics for the New Generation. And I want it to be a fresh start, so that we really look at all our old patterns and the patterns that we've learned from our parents and grandparents, and God bless them, because that's all they knew, but it's time to change it around. And if, we can change one person in the family, sometimes we can change the whole dynamics of the family. I love what you said about the self-love, because, being a victim and being an abuser is like that imbalance, right? So the victim, and really the abusers are the victims as well, because I think a lot of times they've been very badly hurt. They've been bullied. They've been very damaged. But it's still not okay to just be, we've all been hurt. We've all had rotten childhoods. So it's not okay to go and beat somebody up, right? Or yell at your kids, or, drink yourself to death. It's not okay. And we've all got to step up to the plate now to make this a better society. And I think that's one of the beautiful gifts we're going to get out of this coronavirus, if people take advantage of it. If they don't, oh well, they're back in the old place. But moving forward, we can all do this if we step up. So what are the resources for women and children, and are there resources for men?
Well, there's really not much for men. We talked in Cranbrook to the community center there, and the lady was just like, oh my gosh, I need you people out there, because she's got, you know, like there's so many kids growing up, even from the gang members and stuff like that, that's who she was dealing with, and they're, you know, teenagers or late teens, and all they have to base on is violence in their life. So really beginning to change it from the core level and reaching these kids through schools and other resources. And Michael's putting up on here the helplines of places to go and get some resources. And
Canada.org, yeah, wonderful.
Yeah. And like we said, the women's resources, the women's shelters, the helplines, and join us in our workshops. There is a few, you know, it's starting to be a little bit more popular with people working with around people that have been in abuse and trauma. So, yeah.
So one of my clients, hi, Teresa, she said here, to get rid of the shame, the victim needs to understand it happened to them. It wasn't them that made it happen.
Mm-hmm.
That's really, I think, a very good point, because I felt, you know, when I was being abused, and then of course my mother abused me, and then of course I went out into the world and I expected to be not as well treated. I wouldn't say I was abused, but I was definitely, and I could not accept people loving me. It took me for, well, I would say into my 50s. People would say, oh, I love you. And I go, what are you talking about? Because it was just so, I just had such this toxic, I would say, version of myself that my mother had given me. And I thought, well, she must know. She's my mother. Maybe, you know, if you've got a husband that keeps saying that, you say, well, he must know, he lives with me, right? So it's you giving your power away to that person as to who you are. And often I'll say to people, you decide, only you can decide who you are and who you want to become.
Yeah. And also people base their value on what other people think, like you said, you know, so it's like giving away your power by, it's like, oh, well, they think I'm not good, or they think I'm, you know, and so it's really taking that power back and deciding I have value, or I am worth a lot, and I am, you know.
And yeah, absolutely. And every single child and teenager and woman and man on this planet absolutely is a spark of the divine. They're a miracle they were born. There are no accidents. They're meant to be here. We all have gifts and challenges. And it's our job, I feel, to bring these gifts out of these challenges, no matter how bad it was at the time, is to make something out of this. So, Darlene, I'm going to ask you now about your workshops and the 5 keys. So where do you want to begin with that? You tell me.
Well, Michael and I, my husband and I, we've done a series of workshops. We've been going into communities doing these workshops, but now we're offering them online.
Good.
It's called The Path to Freedom, and it's from, I do believe, the 24th to the 27th of April. So not next week, but the following week. And we have an event, which I'm sure Michael will share it here on the screen so people know how to find it. And we're going to just break it down. So the first part, we talk about fear versus love and trying to bring people to a 0 point, because when we're in a state of fear, we're held frozen. The nervous system is on fight or flight, shuts down all the organs and the systems to keep the adrenaline going on. So the first part, we really talk about that piece and what it looks like to be in, like what abusive relationship would look like from the beginning, and what a healthy relationship would look like. And then another piece into that is change. We know everything's in constant change, but it's one of the things we resist more. So as uncomfortable as it is being in these abusive relationships, it is our comfort zone. And to know that once we break through that comfort zone, there's our hopes and dreams and amazingness on the other side of that. So that's another big piece that we talk about from the beginning. So, and then the middle part of the workshop, so probably about day 2, will be the vulnerability and courage. So how do we get vulnerable enough to actually break through that comfort zone and really look at, you know, some of these beliefs and programs and things that are dysfunctional, so that we can change it into a positive basis for us to show up in a belief pattern that is built on worth and love. And then the 5 keys at the masterclass day is really tapping into those tools, that self-love, the what is their imagination and dreaming and life force. So I'll just touch on a couple of them like that. But Michael, he brings in, he has martial arts and Tai Chi. And so he really brings in the energy piece of it. So when we can really tap into that personal energy force that runs within us, it starts to build up momentum and we start to get stronger. And when that can happen, we can create that change in our life and it becomes a force to help move us forward. So that's kind of our basis of our workshops.
It sounds amazing, Darlene. I'm so happy you're doing this work. I just wish I'd known about you when I was 17, but you wouldn't have been ready for me either. So you mentioned imagination, and and you mentioned Wayne Dyer. So I've got this calendar with some of his sayings, and I really miss Wayne Dyer because he was such an amazing force in the world. And appropriately, I picked this the other day. When you create a great longing for the experience of a peaceful family, everything will begin to happen to fulfill this yearning spontaneously and naturally. And what I'm often, talking about as a quantum healer is let's change our reality. And the way we do that is to, I don't like this movie. This is not what I thought I signed up for. So I'm going to pick a new movie. What does that new movie look like? And this is what I think Wayne Dyer is saying. When we get into that happier picture and movie where there's a happy ending, we're actually lifting our frequency, lifting our vibration. We sometimes change our body language and we're not feeling so disempowered anymore. We're feeling confident, happier. This is just a tiny tool. It's not going to solve it forever. But I know that if you pray and say, thank you, God, for my new happy family, whether it be the people that are in your home or, you get adopted out and you end up on a beautiful farm somewhere with really lovely people and you're taking care of dogs and cats and things like that, you're going to attract that new situation to you. But it's, as I say, there's a lot of work to be done because these situations have come down from generations of stuff. It's not just you and not your fault. It's a system that we're in. But as individuals, we can work to change the system, right?
Oh, and I was just going to add just a tiny bit to your imagination. I was never taught to dream. When you're in those circumstances, you're literally surviving, and that's all you're doing. It's not living. So that's why we want people to start nurturing that imagine. And even if they may not even, I'm just beginning to dream about the future now. But even if it's just a happy place in our imagination where we can go, where we feel safe and at peace, it changes, like you said, the whole emotional state that we're at, and it gets us into a better place so that we start attracting that in.
And there's another thing I like to teach children, especially and adults, because it's so simple. And I do this for myself. I do this for my husband. I put it around my house, and it's just put myself or people I love, or even people that I love that I don't love, that are maybe the nasty ones, putting white bubbles around everybody, so that it's like a laser-like shell that keeps you safe inside. And the only energy that can get in there is the energy that you give permission to come in. So nobody can hurt you on the physical, the emotional, or the psychic level. So just imagine, kids, if you're out there, if you're listening, put yourself in this little bubble, or women or men, whoever you are, and also put that white bubble around the people that are abusing, because I'm sure they don't really want to be behaving like this. They're probably feeling horrible inside as well, and they may feel out of control or like they don't have the strength to behave in any other way. And they may well be sick. They may be suffering from something. So put the white bubble of light around them. Send them your compassion, but take care of you first.
Yeah.
Would you agree with that, Darlene?
Absolutely. And I really know they feel horrible inside, because how they're showing up in the world is how they're feeling inside. So you got to know they feel horrible inside, and they're angry and they're mean and they're nasty. And
yeah.
and the hurt.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
you know, finding a big key for that is finding a way to release those emotions in a safe way so that we're not projecting it out on other people is huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, you know, I think sports can be good for that, or running, getting out of the house and running, not getting in the car. Please don't get in the car. Don't, you know, resort to the bottle, although a lot of people are anyway at this time. Maybe, you know, what I did with in one of my relationships, because he was yeller. He wasn't physically abusive, not at all, and wasn't mean, but he had come from an abusive household. And I said, why are you yelling? He said, well, I'm afraid you won't hear me. So I bought us each a journal. And I said, you know, when you're feeling like that, just write down what you're feeling and then leave it for me. So um, he could ensure in that way that he could say what he wanted to say, that I would read it, that I would listen to him. And it started off all angry and, well, you did this and you did that. It was all my fault, of course. And then it ended up being, oh, but you're amazing and I love you and I'm so sorry. And so he just worked his way through that. And there could be 7 or 8 pages. And it was wonderful because I'd write back to him then, you know, and I'd say, speaking my truth, well, I was angry and upset when you said this, right? So we worked it out. It's not for everybody, but it might be a tool for some people. But I think being physical, getting on the treadmill, going for a run can be a great way. Meditating, although probably when you're in that state, you don't want to sit down and be calm and meditate.
Like you said, don't get in the car, but get in the car, shut the doors, and yell it out, punch it out. You know, if there's something that's harmless to, like, just get it out of your body, then do that, you know, like, but exercise.
And you know, yeah, yeah. And this is funny, but something I used to do, or still do occasionally, is go in the bathroom and sing. And just because I can't sing, I just belt something out. And that was their punishment.
Yeah.
But, you know, anything where you get into that heightened awareness is just being responsible with your own energy. So Melody is saying, this time of isolation, I'm worried about the increase of abuse and female and children, as everyone seems to be so stressed. Absolutely. And this is why, Melody, we're having these conversations. And I don't know, I think I'd like to hear from, if any women who are listening who are feeling abused. Is your email on here, Darlene, as well? Can they contact?
I don't know, but you can do Darlene and Michael Turner at gmail.com.
Okay, so Darlene and Michael Turner at gmail.com, or myself, you can go to my website, natasharosewood.com. All my information is there. And just let us know if you need help, and then I'll probably refer you to Darlene, or if I can help you in my way, I will. But let's have women reach out more, and let's have this conversation. And men too. I mean, it's got to be, I want to say, even more shaming maybe for men to admit that they've been beaten up by their spouse. And that's got to be much more unreported and more hidden. But having seen my mother attack my father, I know it does happen. Yeah. And he just kind of try and fend her off. So to anybody, nobody should be being abused. It's not the way we're meant to be living with each other at all.
And we want men and women into our workshop. It's not specifically for women or men. But if there is some women or men that have an issue with being in the same workshop, please email me and we can work on some stuff privately, separately, so that you're comfortable.
Okay. So do you just want to mention the title of the workshop again, Darlene, and then we can wrap this one up.
The Path to Freedom from Abusive Relationships. Easy peasy.
Beautiful. Easy peasy. And your website is?
It's Victim to Victory /learn more. So it's a landing.
And there it is.
And then in that, you'll see a video from me and Michael. You'll learn more about kind of what the workshop's about. And yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to end this. We're going to do a little thing, shout outs and a prayer. But I want to end this by saying thank you for coming on. Thank you for the work you're doing. And I'm so happy that you're happily married now. And I'm so happy I'm happily married. So I want to tell everybody that's going through something like this, there is a gift in it. And in some ways, I'm thankful to my mother. I learned so much, and it's given me my whole purpose in life is to heal other people. And I've been able to help thousands and thousands of people with what they've gone through. So there is light at the end of the tunnel. There is a gift in this if you look for the gift. So it's not all bad news, and you will get through it. And if you don't have a person, you know who to talk to. Talk to the guy upstairs, the creator of the universe, your higher power, your guardian angels. You've got them all there with you, but they won't interfere. They want to be asked for your help. So you're never, ever alone. So thanks again to Darlene for coming on. As always, at the end of these videos, I want to send out a huge thank you to the medical staff, everybody that's on the front line, the grocery stores, the pharmacies, the volunteers, the manufacturers, anybody that's out there doing work so that the rest of us can stay home and stay safe. And I'm sending white light to all of you. Blessings, great karma, guys, great, great karma. And just, stay safe and really try and take care of yourselves. I know that's easier said than done at this time. And we're praying that you get everything you need to stay safe. And then I want to do a little meditation now. And I'm going to try an experiment. I'm going to start some crystal balls. And I'm going to invite you, if you're online or if you want to join me right now, is just to close your eyes. Take a nice deep breath in through the nose and exhale through the mouth. Imagining that as you focus on your breath, you are inviting your guardian angels, your spirit guides, your deceased loved ones to come and be with you at this time as we go through these challenging and interesting times. Just inhale joy, exhale any kind of stress that you're feeling, the stress of being maybe in your home, being in a difficult relationship, maybe being afraid. Just inhale joy, exhale fear. Inhale happiness, exhale stress. Inhale peace, exhale discomfort. Inhale safety, exhale not feeling safe where you are. Just knowing that you are now safe. You are surrounded by this beautiful white light, and as you inhale, this shell of white light that surrounds your physical body and your aura is your protection. This beautiful white gold light is made of the highest frequency there is, of the highest love. And you are the babe within this shell of light, completely protected, physically, emotionally, spiritually, and mentally. You are now safe and protected by these white guardians of light. Take a nice deep breath in and just stay with the breath for a while. Breath being your life, being safe to breathe in and breathe out, that you are loved, you are cherished, you are a spark of the divine, and you have a right to be here, and you have a right to be who you are. Breathe in and exhale. Exhaling all that negativity into that beautiful crystal ball that hovers just above your physical body. And then handing that physical ball over to your guardian angels and letting them take it away from you, all that negativity, all that fear, and transmute it into something very beautiful. Something you can dream about and enjoy and visualize and dream. And now they are bringing this beautiful gift back to you in your crystal ball. What is there? Is that a nice, peaceful family? Is that forgiveness? Is that new friends, new allies, a way out? Are you being given a gift from your angels of power and strength and confidence, knowing that that is your divine right? You deserve the very best and all the love in the world. As you give love, so do you receive it from the universe and perhaps from strangers who are being sent to support you at this time. Know that you are blessed, you are gifted, you are loved, and you are safe. Amen. So be it, and so it is. And when you're ready, you can slowly open your eyes and come back to your present space and know that you are loved. I want to thank Darlene for coming on here. Thank you so much, Darlene. This is amazing.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah, is there, if you came back to talk further into this, do you have more topics you think you'd like to address?
Oh, definitely. There's lots to talk about around it. I didn't even talk about, well, we did a little bit, but about having a voice around it,
Yes.
This is just new this past, I guess it's about 10 months that I've started to even talk about it. So, yeah.
Okay. Well, how about this? We can confirm this later, but that you come back in a month, and we invite people to send in their emails, their questions, their situations, their stories, and maybe their victory stories as well, not just the victim stories, right?
Yeah.
We want to hear on the other side as well. So, I'm sure all of us at some time have been at the, been the victim in this situation, and we might have been the abuser. So, and I talk about this in lifetimes. When we go through lifetimes, sometimes we've been on that side, and sometimes we've been on this side. So it's not all the bad guys and all the good guys. I think we have a shadow side as well. And we have to make peace with that, I think, sometimes as victims, before we can have compassion and then step into our power again.
Yeah.
Makes sense?
The story of the little soul by Donald Walsh. Maybe we can share that sometime, because that really gives a whole nother perspective on it, and it opens up for forgiveness.
Okay. Well, thank you. And I want to hear from everybody. It's up to all of us to break this vicious cycle of abuse, and let's be kind. What a concept. It's not difficult, and it makes you feel good, keeps you young, and it's very good for the skin to be kind, isn't it, darling?
Yeah, and we grow younger as the more kind and compassionate we are. We actually grow younger. So it's.
I think so. You should have seen me when I was 22. I looked ancient. Okay, I'm going to sign off now. Namaste, everybody. Be kind, be safe, and remember, count to 10 before you yell. Go outside, take some fresh air, and then come back in and speak kindly. Amen, so be it, and so it is. And thank you, Michael, for being an awesome producer, an awesome husband. To Darlene.
Thank you.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.